January of 2025 was quite an unusual month, not only for the several rounds of winter storms that hit areas of the Central Plains, but through the Southern Plains, the Gulf Shore, and even into the Northeast, with several winter storms and record cold that built across most of the United States. Even blizzard warnings that were issued in areas of Louisiana for the first time on recorded history. Now the big question is, could something like this happen again as we head through the next couple of weeks and into the beginning of March? And the short question, or short answer to the question, is yes, it could always happen any given winter, but the bigger question is will it happen again this year? And specifically over the next couple of weeks. And I give an answer of yes, it definitely could happen, and there's a heightened possibility that it could happen again as the weather patterns are actually cycling and the storms are re-emerging on a regular basis. And this goes in line with the LRC, or the Louisiana recurring cycle. Briefly what it is, a unique weather pattern sets up right around the 6th of October, right when the North Pole goes fully dark for the first time that fall. This unique weather pattern is a unique number of days long, and it will cycle over and over again through the following year until a new cycle forms that following October. Now there's other influence that act on it, but it's the central piece in the forecasting jigsaw puzzle. And since the weather patterns have already produced winter storms that have hit areas that don't normally see these types of winter storms, i.e. the Gulf Coast and this record cold and several storms in January, there's a possibility that something similar to it is going to happen again in the next cycle. Now these cycles, which are roughly around 6 weeks right now, they're oscillating over a few day window. But this whole weather pattern that we've seen unfold throughout the month of January, where we had several winter storms that barreled across the United States, as well as that Arctic air that took out all the way down into the Panhandle and into central Florida, well, a similar pattern to this is going to happen again, and we've made a few videos explaining this on the channel. You're welcome to go check it out. We're putting together another forecast here of how this weather pattern is going to reemerge over the next couple of weeks, and we've already made a few predictions on storms that are happening this week that happened back in January when we first talked about them. We mentioned that they'd be back in the middle of February. And here these winter storms are already starting to unfold, not only with the early onset of the cold, but with this previous storm that's going through now, but more importantly, the next storm and the storm after that that's about to happen. What we're dealing with today is one storm that's mainly affecting the Great Lakes in terms of snow and wind into the northeast, but a line of strong to severe thunderstorms that are anticipated throughout the southeast. This is going to traverse up into Maine with heavy snow and ice over the next day into Thursday the 13th and into the 14th. It should be out of our area, but what follows behind it is another winter storm that's expected to hit areas of Missouri and Iowa, Michigan, and into the northeast again through New York and Maine, with again another chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms throughout the southeast. Now these patterns are all a part of the larger scale Louisiana recurring cycle, or the LRC, and these cycles again are about 6 weeks. Now if we look backwards 6 weeks from today, and if we were to look at the 13th of February, and as well with this next storm that's coming through on the 16th of February, that would coincide with the 3rd and the 5th of January, where we see our first low, which matches up fairly close with what the model prediction is for the 13th of February. But what happens 2 days after that is a secondary storm that builds down into Oklahoma and then up towards the Great Lakes. Again, is fairly similar to what is playing out right here with the anticipated model, followed by another storm that's likely to dig down towards the southwest, and then push back into the central United States, forming another chance for a major storm that very well could, if this pushes a bit further south, bring another chance for ice and snow into the Gulf Shore states. And this is exactly what we see playing out right here with this storm system And this is the storm that brought snow all the way down into areas of Florida and the blizzard warnings into Louisiana from around the 20th and 21st, or the 21st of January. This is that part of the upper level pattern that produced that storm, and the models right now are picking up on another storm forming in the similar location and digging down towards the Gulf of Mexico. And if this digs a little further down to the south, it as well will bring that chance for snow into the Gulf Shore states of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Now, I don't quite believe it will snow in Florida, but there is a heightened probability that it will happen, and it's an early warning sign that a possibility like that does exist as we head over the next couple of weeks. So let's keep a very close eye on the weather pattern, as things that happened in January are likely to a similar degree about to happen again to round out February and begin March, where we could see another round of record-breaking cold for areas of the central and eastern half of the United States.